Hi everyone, my name is Petko, and this is the second and final Mythic Plus 8.3 Elemental Shaman guide, and not only for 8.3 but in general for BFA. This is going to be the last year, and after this is going to be Shadowlands release, which hopefully will come after the summer or like early, I'll say September. So it's going to be a kind of a final update what your Shaman should look like at the end of the tier for Mythic Plus as Elemental. I'm going to be heavily focused on corruptions, the best builds, obviously update on your essences and traits what you should be running. So pretty much follow up on the first part of the guide, which was made a couple of months back. If you haven't seen it, I would strongly recommend to go check it out before you watch this video. It's going to make your life easier and you're going to be able to understand what's going on in this video. Right, to begin with, so what has changed throughout the past couple of months? Oh, pretty much nothing when it comes down to essences. The most important thing is to remember that Blood of the Enemy Major is your primary go-to essence. The key is above 15, just because the mob HP is going to be high enough for you to sustain over the cursive period of more than 10 seconds. So therefore, Blood is going to be your go-to major. If you don't have Blood, then obviously Aris could be as useful as Blood, but I strongly recommend it, as my personal opinion, to go for Blood major. Now, these two essences as a miner are absolutely crucial. That's a bit of undying, not only because it provides high overall, but it also has a corruption resistance by 10, which is very, very big. And also conflict and strife, which is very, very useful and has a high uptime, and at the same time provides not only verse, which not only gives you a higher bump on the versatility, therefore you survive more and do more DPS, but it also has a very unique feature of having a high uptime, which is very, very important when it comes down to like a passive miners. As a third miner, I would recommend you, if you don't have a vision, you can run Purification Protocol or you can run Iris. Three of them are really good. I usually run Purification Protocol in dungeons like Underworld or Wakecrest, where there's aberrations, and I know, for example, that my tank is gonna pull large amount of mobs. Vision I usually play when my tank pulls like back-to-back large packs, and Iris I just play for anything else. So it's personal preference. I'd personally go for Purification Protocol go-to. If I don't have that, then I can choose either of those. When it comes down to traits, nothing has really changed. The same thing as always. You guys want to have a triple ignition potential in most of the weeks, especially on Tyrannical. Very, very important. In my opinion, must. Tectonic Thunder and IP trait on the shoulders is only available through PvP. So if you don't PvP, you have no chance of getting those shoulders. But don't worry, Tectonic Thunder is not as big as people make it. Obviously, it does increase your overall by quite a significant amount of number. But if you don't have it, that's absolutely fine. You pretty much want to have triple Ignious Potential and triple Natural Harmony, which will be like your go-to kind of a word, what I want to have, right? And if you don't have Natural Harmony, you can either use Heart of Darkness, or you can use Synapse Shock is also really decent substance. Right, so now talking about the corruption, I've been asked many times on my stream. By the way, if you haven't checked my stream, Twitch TV/NereusX, check it out. Daily streams, pretty much Shaman content and any other class that I play currently. Yeah, quick shout out. So when it comes down to base corruption, I would say, first of all, what kind of corruption should I run? Up until what number is optimal for a Shaman? I prefer to play below 60 corruption. I don't like to go above 60. But if you don't feel confident that you can play around the illusions, then I would recommend you just drop it below 40. Grand illusions are spawns that hit you quite hard if they get close to you. You have only one ability that probably prevents them, and that's your Thunderstorm, which is like every 45 seconds. And pretty much you're not as mobile as many other classes Shaman. So if you don't know how to play around that corruption, then if you're like beginner Shaman, I recommend you to go just below 40. Makes your life easier. If you wanna get a higher challenge, if you wanna test your abilities to the maximum, I would say 55 is where you're kind of a spot where you have to be. But then again, I don't run 55 on all the dungeons. I run 55 on dungeons like there's a lot of space I can run around. For example, in Freehold, Motherlord, Underworld, those kind of small dungeons that I just have to stay in like a tight corners like Tall Degory, Wakecrest, even KR, King's Rest, and Natao. I just prefer to be below 40 and have no ground illusion. So that's my personal opinion, my personal choice, and you guys can go for whatever you want. But that's how I usually play it. Now, the absolute base corruption is gonna be Strike True. Strike True is a increase of critical strike damage by a certain percent having tier 2, 3, or 4 is definitely is going to be like 2%, 3%, 4%. It's going to be your best corruption as a shaman. If you don't have that, don't worry about it. Not a big deal. There's a lot of items that you can substitute. There's a tons of corruption that you can substitute from. For example, you can use a Twilight Devastation build, which again, I'm going to talk about it. It's quietly unique featured. And if you don't know how to play around Twilight Devastation, I'm just going to enchant, let's say I'm going to enchant my Lex. Oh, by the way, wait, I cannot enchant my Lex. Okay, I'm going to enchant. Okay, well, nothing I can enchant because I have to remove. By the way, for those who are wondering how do I have this cross of corruption, this is the tournament realm. I'm currently waiting for the MDI to be released on 2nd of April. So I have some downtime and I've decided to, you know, update you on the guide because it's promised and many of you have asked me. So this is the reason why I have the scrolls. So I would recommend you, if you don't have strike through, well, that's very rarely to have all the pieces, then having a Twilight Devastation mixed in between that and strike through is going to be also okay. Anything else is pretty much irrelevant. I would say Deadly Momentum to some extent is okay-ish, but anything else just doesn't make sense. It's not as good as those two. So pretty much you want to have Twilight Devastation or strike through. My personal opinion, strike through all the way. If you don't have that, then Twilight Devastation can be the play. And very, very important thing, the weapon from the Mythic raid or Heroic raid. This is the Axe from Drasgard. This is the 8-ball boss of the new raid Nyalota. I'm going to show you right now. Go to Nyalota and you go to Drasgard. This is the weapon that you have to loot. It's insanely strong for a shaman. And only shamans or I believe paladins can wear it. It gives you a random proc of intellect. Let's say 6% intellect, and it's infinite. It's like has no like a timer, no remaining timer. So yeah, so it's pretty good weapon for the 20 corruption that provides, and I'm gonna definitely recommend it to try it out, check it out. It's gonna make your life way easier, and just gonna see the main difference. So I think that's enough for corruption. So just to summarize, what is gonna be the best corruption for you and the best builds? The usual build and the most OP build, I would say, is gonna be the strike through build with the Axe from Drasgard. If you have that, great for you. If you don't have all of them, all of the pieces are, if they're not strike through, then you can use Deadly Momentum for like a couple of them. But then again, just don't try to put too much crit. I would say anything above 40 crit is kind of a, you know, it's kind of has a diminishing return. So I would say don't overload on crit. Anywhere between 35-40 should be okay for a secondary start. And then when it comes down to like verse and haste, there is not really like a limit that you want to, you know, focus on. But I would say if you're running high keys like myself, like top cutting edge keys, having high versatility is obviously the play because it provides you higher survivability, and as a shaman that's your only struggle, that you don't have a passive mitigation. So therefore higher base verse could solve lots of problem for yourself. So my suggestion, my advice, strike through all the way with the Drasgard Axe. If you don't have that, then having a tier 3 Twilight Devastation on any of the pieces should be okay. And then you can fill it with, let's say, 1 or 2 pieces with the strike throw, which is, again, okay. It's great. And obviously, Drasgard Axe is going to be like the main focus. You want to have that ASAP, right? So this one plus Twilight Devastation is going to probably bump your DPS by quite a lot. You've seen me probably making some crazy overalls. You've seen me playing high keys on Shaman this season. I don't have neither of those builds. I only have a Twilight Devastation build with strike through combined. I don't have a pure strike through, but I can show you what this pick can do on paper right now on 5 targets. This is the tournament realm again. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna try to simulate for you and see what I can do, just as like a small sample of how Shaman looks like currently. So the only build I'm gonna show you today is gonna be the strike through. That's the best simming gear, the best performing gear, all together with the Drasgard Axe. I'm gonna show you how powerful it is on the 5 targets right now. You can decide for yourself whether or not you wanna run it. If you want to check out the other builds, they're going to be probably in my Discord. Otherwise, this video is going to be very, very lengthy, and I know that I don't want to, you know, it lengthy. Otherwise, you guys gonna cry about it, right? So there you go. So what trinkets am I going to be using? I'm going to be using a Gladiator patch. Reason why is because I'm going to burst right now. If I look for a high overall, if I look like for like consistent damage over like 10 minutes of period of time, then Manifest of Madness is going to be the better choice. Just because it has a 10 item level higher, it's 10 item level higher, plus at the same time it's much more sustainable, and you don't need to combine it with with Storm Elemental, for example, or Fire Elemental if you're running Master of the Elements. So this trinket is only good if you combine it with something, for example, Storm Ele, if you're running Vision of Perfection, with Storm Elemental has 2-minute cooldowns, so 2-minute Storm Elemental plus 2-minute Batch is going to be very, very, very strong combination. I'm going to be running Purification Protocol here because there's no really a point for me to use Vision Miner, just because I'm going to be bursting for like a minute, so just so you guys know, and just so you guys see how powerful it is. I'm just gonna pre-build some Milestorm because I don't want to start with like 0. I usually never start with 0 Milestorm. I always start with like at least 100. Even before I put the key, if you guys have seen the channel, if you guys have followed the channel, you know that I'm always starting with at least 100 Milestorm. All right, resetting the meter, and I'm gonna show you right now what Shaman looks like. Yeah, what I can do. Not bad. And just keep in mind, this is gonna be probably higher on many targets. I have some crazy videos and clips about like 1.1, 1.2 million damage burst in like Freehold, for example, 10 targets, or like Toldegor, 15 targets. If you guys are more curious about that, you can check it out in my Discord. Everything is there. And also there are other builds in Discord, for example, Twilight Devastation. I have a Mind Flay build as well. Generally interesting thing. I just wanted to show you my personal favorite, just so you can compare with the rest if you're curious to see the rest. Pretty much it.